right, welcome to Locker Room Talk. Sarah Tiana here with Rachel Bonetta, Megan Gailey. We have a lot to talk about. It's been a while since we've posted a video like this. You know,
people like our YouTube channel.
Well,
Thank
and
you
like,
guys for subscribing.
I don't want you to think we haven't been together. We've been together a lot, and we're gearing up to be together even more. And that's why we were like, we got to bring back these conversations that we're having, you know, in our texts, and when we're sitting in a hot tub, and when we're taking a party bus for Rachel's very soon bachelorette party, we got to bring them back to the people.
I know. We are also in a book club together. Like, we really cannot get enough of each other.
we cannot.
Yeah, we're gonna start syncing up our periods pretty soon, even though everything we do is over Zoom.
What did you keep on saying in front of my mom last week? So my mom came to book club. Megan, what did you keep on saying in front of her?
I kept calling people sluts.
Yes, that's right.
But not that. I would like to explain. To me, that's a term of endearment. The signature cocktail at my wedding for me was called the fun slut. So like that is
great.
not, I've reclaimed that in the way that bitches and hoes had been reclaimed. Slut is to me one of the highest compliments.
Okay. Were you a bully in high school?
Was I a bully? No,
that sounds like something a bully would say. Like, it's a term of endearment.
In high school, I was a virginal tennis playing prom queen. So it was like I was
You were
just
prom queen?
I was prom queen, and my mother was prom queen.
So definitely a bully. That's what she means.
You were mean. You were mean to several people.
I'm in the process of planning my 20th high school reunion, and I've told you guys off this, it's been drama. I can't even get into it. I cannot even get into it, but it has been drama. Which is also what a bully would say.
I thought the valedictorian had to plan the...
No. Our valedictorian went to...
Senior president.
No, class president too. I was like a real...
You were class president as well?
I was class president, captain of high school of my golf and tennis team, and just like an annoying biatch head.
I was gonna say, I feel like if you met you back then now, you'd be like, what a nightmare.
I'd be like, chill out, girl. Chill out. You don't need to do all this. You're going to a state school and you're going to be a comedian. So stop padding the resume.
Like, that's really okay if there's like 10 people in your high school for you to have all of those jobs.
Don't worry. There were 700 in my graduating class who I'm now corresponding with via Facebook.
No way.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Well,
hold on. I have one more question. Were you slutty in high school?
No, I was a virgin.
You were. Okay. You were.
This was a signature move of mine starting in high school, though. Is I've always had a really big butt, which is how you win prom queen as a virgin. And so I had a really big bow I had a really big butt and a boat, actually. So that's how you get both of those. So I would grind. I loved to grind. I would grind, and then I would stick my hands down guys' pants.
Classic.
Oh God.
Yeah,
but I was not saving myself for marriage. Obviously, I didn't make it, but I was like saving myself for love, which I also did not make it to.
You were collecting those votes, babe, is what you were doing.
Yeah, I was campaigning.
You were campaigning on the dance floor.
That's right. Biden, get me in there, okay? Send me to the swing states, if you know what I mean.
Oh, that's so funny.
So amazing. All right. Well, this makes sense then. This is a great segue into your other
love.
Your true love, who you lost your virginity to the first time, the Pacers.
I did say boom baby, but yeah.
Talk about it.
Walk us through. You guys were so close.
So I was taking Conrad to ballet class, and then we went to a Blaze Pizza, and then we went to CJ's rec league game. So I was not watching, but I was very closely paying attention on my phone.
While driving her son.
At one point, Conrad did burn his mouth on pizza, and I'm like, listen, the Pacers are tied. I'm going to need you to get it together. And so where I was going at the end of the night, which is a bar owned by a reality star, I got there with like 2 minutes left in regulation. So I ran into the bar. My friends were on the other side, and I found a table of Pacers fans. And we were like, I did not know them. We talked about what high school we went to. We were fist bumping. We were like seeing if we knew any of the same people. We were having the best time. And then a series of the 3 worst things I've ever seen happened. And when the game went to overtime, I turned around and left that bar, and I will never speak to those people ever again.
Did you even say goodbye? Did you even
No.
say that was fun while it lasted?
I literally turned on my heel, and a man at a different table goes, "Oh, she's mad." And I said, "I'm really mad." And then I stormed into the other side of the bar. And it's like, when a game goes to overtime and we'd already lost.
You can tell, you have that feeling.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, you know.
And so I was like, I can't spend 20 more minutes watching this, even though I've only watched 2 minutes, but I've watched the 2 worst minutes. And so I just had to get out of there. And then the family text thread was dark. One of my brothers was like hiding from a tornado, and we didn't even give him any support. I was just like, I'm sickened by the Pacers. I would say, as a Pacers fan, I know Sarah lives and loves with a Celtics fan, so I want to hear her take afterwards, because I do love her, and that is what support is. I will say, I felt terribly after game 1 of the last series. We lost that in heartbreaking fashion. Should they have won this? Yes. Are they also a extremely young team who has house money they're playing with right now, and honestly trying to figure it out? Siakam is a mid-season ad. These guys are young. It's just like, these type of things happen. I wish they didn't have to happen, but I also am still so happy they're there. And I think so many things went wrong for the Celtics to be able to win that game, that we should be able to take some tiny piece of, okay, we can beat them out of it.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, the year that the Braves won the World Series, like, everyone was like, oh, they're still a year away from being a year away. Like, we won it way before we were supposed to. But sometimes that's the best time to win, when the pressure is not on you. Like, all the pressure is on the Celtics. They are the team that is supposed to win. They were the best team all year. And like, playing from the position that the Pacers are in right now is such an advantage. So it's so easy to lose to a team like that, who's just like, hey, we're just having fun, and we're just like kind of good. And like, no, you're better than kind of good. Like, and literally Christopher was foaming like around the whole house. Like, he already walks heavy, but like
stomping.
He's just like, oh, we play so dumb, we play so dumb, and I was just like, he had it on the little TV. The Braves were on the big TV. I was already kind of upset because the Braves lost in extras to the Cubs. And I was like, we should never have lost that game. But like, we're just in the place that we are right now. And I'm like, do you want me to switch the TVs? And he goes, no. And then as soon as there was like 12 seconds left and they were down by 4, he just like he turned it off and threw the remote down and walked outside and started hitting balls off the tee, off of Cage's T-ball tee, like
little wiffle balls.
So he didn't even know that the game went into overtime. Like, he had no idea that the game went into overtime. I didn't either.
He was
like,
that mad. He couldn't even.
He was that mad. He turned it off, walked out of the house. Then he starts, Cage, it's time for Cage's bed. So he reads some books, every night. Cage is like, Dad, it's time to read some books. He does this like double point thing, and it's like their little routine. And I'm sitting on Twitter, like, I'm still like mad at the Braves. And then I see people going like, the Pacers have no business losing this game. And it's from 23 seconds ago. And I'm like, what is happening? Is this game still on? There's no way. And then, I turned it over, and then I paused it so he could watch it when he came out of the room. And he's like, fucking hate this team. Like he just like gets so mad.
There's
and then
no way that he can be pleased with them because
yeah, no,
you watch the comeback.
Yeah, no, you can't. I mean, it's a win, but you're like, it's not a good win. Like, it's not. It doesn't give me confidence in the next game. So, like, I don't like the NBA, so I don't really care. But like, I will be happy either way. I'm like, well, if Megan won, I'm super happy for my friend, and if Chris wins, like, I don't get beaten. Like these are all the great things that are happening.
Yeah.
I feel like even if the Celtics win, he's still going to be stomping around. It sounds like he's going to find another
it
way
doesn't matter. Like,
well, and the Celtics, and this is what I said to my friends who I just made, who I will never see again. I go, they choke. They're chokers. And the Pacers haven't like been together long enough to even be chokers. So we don't really even necessarily know what their identity is. And when DiVincenzo, it's like almost too Italian to say, when he was like, they're wannabe tough guys, it's like, I think in some ways he was right. Like they are searching for their identity, and their identity is just like young, fast, score a ton. And to do what they did on Sunday in Game 7 of Madison Square Garden, and then to even be ready to play on Tuesday is honestly a testament to Rick Carlisle and their mental fortitude, because they just had the highest scoring percentage in the history of the NBA playoffs, and then had to go to the Garden. No, what's it called? TD Ameritrade.
I think it's called TD Garden.
TD Garden. A lot.
Yeah,
I'm like, well, because I'm like, that's a garden. This is a garden. Descanso Garden, Huntington Garden, a lot of gardens.
Shout out.
So they go to Descanso Garden. I mean, like Pacers Twitter is doom and gloom, but also trying to temper.
They were being mean.
Of course, they're psychos. Sports fans are some of the dumbest, meanest, most hypocritical people on earth, and I count myself as one of them.
I do think that like when you're in a position to play with house money, like that's great. But also, like I remember when the Raptors were in the finals, like obviously we were playing with house money. It was a miracle that we had even gotten to that place. And we were playing the Warriors.
Yeah.
But then there's also another side of it is like when you're not a fan of like a massive like winning franchise, like the Chiefs or the Patriots, there's always this thought am I gonna start crying? There's always this thought in the back of your head that's like, we may never get here again. And so there is this pressure of like, if they don't win now with this like young, exciting team, like you never know. Like that team had Kawhi Leonard left the next year. That team was completely dissolved. We had Pascal Siakam on our team.
I know. Thank you.
You just never know with sports what's going to happen. So when you make it, it's like do or die, unless you're fans of this, incredible franchise like those teams. But I feel it's stressful.
And I love losers. And CJ's like, you don't have to do that. And I'm like, yeah, I do. That's where I was born, and I'll ride with them till the end. And I love them. And then being in this position, honestly, am I going to cry? Has meant a lot to me. You're just like so truly proud of them. This week in Indianapolis is so huge. There's going to be 300,000 people in town to go to the race. And the city is so alive during this time. And then to add to it, the Pacers doing this. And then to add to it, Caitlin Clark. Like, it's massive. It's massive.
You guys are having a moment right now. And it is emotional. It's like you're just like, I'm not, my small ass town in Ontario is nothing to like write home about, but like when I was there at the finals, I was like, yes, they're doing it. Ontario.
And I think that's something I think that's something that larger markets don't understand.
Yes, I agree.
And that's why the coverage of the Knicks only was so, I think, like hurtful. Because it's like, we already feel like losers. Granted, I live in Los Angeles. It's like we already are like, nobody cares about us. And then for it to just be a Stephen A. Smith jerk off session, you're just like, what? Oh, why did we even show up? Okay. Caitlin Clark, though, are if Indianapolis has a king, it's Tyrese Halliburton, and maybe Tyrese from Baby Boy. And if it has a queen, it's Caitlin Clark. And I am so excited on a personal level. I'm going to see her play in person on Friday for the first time. And she scored a 3 from the logo. Yes.
So
like
fun.
I know the Fever are not winning. And I know like maybe she's not putting up 40. She's averaging 17 though, which in a rookie year,
Turnovers?
I think no, it's still pretty good.
10.
So it's still exciting. Even when she hit that 3 and you see the crowd go up,
Yeah.
I can't even begin to tell you how much our tickets are for Friday.
Oh,
They're a lot, and I'm happy
I
for
saw.
the girls.
Yeah, I saw. I mean, obviously there's a revenue share, but that all goes to ownership. It doesn't go translate down to the players.
I know.
But like, I do love it. I love the moment like that the WNBA is having. And I was like, after our conversation last week on extra points, I started researching the ball because, you know, I'm obsessed with like I think the ball is the worst part of it. And so then I wrote a whole new bit. So I have a WNBA bit. I'm so excited.
Amazing.
Like, and I'm gonna like keep expanding it and broadening it.
I
But
can't wait to hear it.
you can wait. It's not that great, but it's like you know, like I feel like an ally, I guess. I'm being supported by like talking about them in real life.
The big news is that Caitlin Clark just signed a deal with Wilson. She's like the first ever WNBA player to have a deal with the company that makes the ball. Do we think that she's going to have...
the first athlete since Michael Jordan to have her own ball.
So first woman,
first athlete since Michael Jordan to have their own ball. So
I think I have a different opinion on this. I've been thinking about this, and I think that the nostalgia, because I've loved the WNBA since the beginning, and I've, you know, wavered in support, and I'm all back in now. But when I was younger, I really loved it. There's just something about those like creamsicle colors, like the orange and the white, that's like a little bit nostalgic. And like, I understand why it benefits us for them to just have the same ball as the NBA, is because we want them to be on the same playing field in all things. And if the ball looks different, you know, you immediately, that kind of is like, oh, that's different. Oh, wait, this is all different. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of puts them weirdly on the same playing field if they have the same color ball. That's such a stupid thing to even think, but it's true. But I don't know. There's something very nostalgic about it, and I think that they should keep it.
No, I don't think that they should have the same one as the men. I just think that it should be a solid color.
That's what I mean.
I'm not saying size.
I'm saying color.
A bright orange one, you know, or a fluorescent green one, or you know, a pink one for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You know, what I mean? Like, what? No, I know. I hate all that shit.
We have to let all the NFL players that love women have the pink for breast cancer.
Sure. Yes. We'll just do purple for domestic violence.
Sure. I was like, what? Honestly, purple is not a good color to be the color for domestic
the color
violence.
of a bruise. Yeah.
That's not good.
Is that true? It's purple?
I do believe it is.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It varies. It goes around, you know, but like, I don't know. I just like a solid colored ball. And then you know that like, oh, this is like a teal ball and this is the WNBA ball and it's just smaller, you know, or whatever.
I could see if they were going to go solid colors, just do it orange. Just make it the same as the NBA bottle. That's what I was saying, color wise, not the same size. But I just find something nostalgic about that creamsicle color.
Yeah, I think this deal with Wilson sort of is them being like, we're now gonna lean in, you know, like this is the ball, and we're gonna like, they're just sort of like franchising everything out of Caitlin Clark. I do think there is absolutely some Caitlin Clark fatigue that's happening, but amongst people that like are haters sort of naturally, and so I think it's good to mention that Angel Reese is also in the news for positive reasons. She became one of the founding owners of DC Power Football Club, which is going to be part of the USL Super League. It's a women's soccer team in DC. She's 22 and owner of professional sports team, which is my dream. I want to be Cameron Diaz from Any Given Sunday so badly.
Yeah,
Before we move on from Caitlin Clark, I do have a question to ask you guys, because did you see that her coach was picked up on ESPN Mike's being like I guess after her 20th turnover, one of her players, she was passing the ball and somebody couldn't catch it in time, and her coach pulled her aside and said, they'll get it, they'll pick up on it. Did you guys see that at all?
no.
I fear that some of her teammates, think about it, all these other teammates that are coming in, they're not making the amount of money as Caitlin
No.
Clark. And sure, they're not as good as her, maybe, but there might be a little bit of fatigue in the locker room as certain things start to come out like even their own coach being like, they'll catch up to you, they'll catch up to your level. Do you feel like the fatigue is going to start coming out in the locker room and maybe some division, because girls can be petty, girls can be emotional, and girls can be petty?
Yeah, I think
What?
absolutely.
No, totally true. Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, if like a 22-year-old came in and was telling me how to do my job, I'd be like, I'm gonna kill you.
Exactly.
I wouldn't say that because that would probably be an HR issue, but I'd be like, I do think these are all like professional athletes, though. I do think they want to win. And whether they need to have like a players only, I have to imagine that the Fever are aware that that's a possibility and trying to be proactive. I also think Caitlin did such a good job of uplifting her Iowa teammates and including them, bringing them to things outside of basketball. They were at SNL. Her teammate got drafted and is now on the Aces. So like I think Caitlin is aware. I think the organization is aware. I think the other players are probably aware. It will seep in, and they're just gonna have to be very proactive about it.
Yeah, but like the other thing is like you can't play down. Like you constantly have to play up to elevate everyone else's game. But the other thing is like it's a trickle down effect. Like if I'm making all this money, you're going to start making money. All of us are going to start making more money. So get on board or jump ship, because I don't got room for all your BS. You know what I mean? Like I'm sitting here focused trying to win games. And do you think that's the reason that the turnovers are happening? It's because the players just aren't fast enough for her game?
I think the Mike's didn't pick up Caitlin. They picked up the coach.
Yeah,
so I don't know what Caitlin was saying, or maybe she was just showing frustration after yet another turnover, because she's being blamed for all of these turnovers. Obviously, that's the headlines. And the coach was insinuating that the turnovers are happening because the players maybe aren't in their positions, or they're not catching the ball fast enough, or whatever is going on. But that's what the Mike picked up. What she was saying was, they'll get it. Just be patient. They'll get it.
And I don't necessarily think that's like, oh, Caitlin is good and they're not. I think it's just like, hey, your style they're having to adjust to. It's the same thing as like a center and a quarterback needing sort of. I don't think it is like. I mean, it's not lost on me that Aaliyah Boston was also the #1 pick last year. They are now teammates, and Aaliyah had to delete Twitter because she was getting so many negative remarks. So with all of these new fans and new eyeballs and attention also comes a lot of not good stuff. And so Caitlin being so spotlit is really like having everyone be spotlit, and not everyone gets treated like a white girl from Iowa does.
But don't you think that Caitlin gets way more of the blame for the losses too?
I think people are just like, oh, they're 0-4, and it's like, yeah, they had the #1 pick back-to-back years. They're not good. Like that. It's like it's just when you invite non-sports people into, it's the same thing when the draft was happening. They were like, they only make this. It's like, yeah, we've all been talking about it. Grab a seat, do some work, and like shut up.
Yeah.
That just always happens. I don't think it's just women, but I think particularly for women reach a certain fame, and then the incels come in, and then it's like, so it's just, I'm really kind of I think she's up for the challenge. I'm excited to see how she handles it over the next few years. But speaking of bad press and negative attention, Patrick Mahomes got a little taste of it this week because he showed up to OTAs and he was a little extra squishy. He was he had a little extra,
I actually
stuff
like,
going on.
I saw the picture. I'm like, I think he looks great. I don't know.
To be
Like,
honest, has he ever been, this is what I
yeah,
was thinking.
he's,
I don't think he's ever been super
He's always
shredded.
been dad bod Mahomes. Like
yeah.
you know why? Because the guy loves Coors Light. The guy
And
drinks, yes, he drinks more Coors Light than like any human being I've ever seen. And yeah, like he's not, yeah, like I think his dog eats better than he does. You know what I mean? So like,
he also
like, who
like,
cares?
yeah, people were saying he looks,
show up with a gut. He could show up with one leg, and I'd still be like, they're probably gonna win the Super Bowl.
And he's gonna win MVP, no problem.
I do not trust a player that comes into OTAs shredded. I'm like, go live your life. Because you've not been playing football.
Point.
You've not been playing football for 3 months. And I mean, I love when Fitzpatrick showed up and he was like 15, 20 pounds. And they asked him, he's like, we got a lot of May birthdays. There's been a lot of cake.
A lot of cake.
And I'm like,
speaking my language, bro.
Eat your cake. Mahomes has 2 young kids, and I'm sure they've got night nurses and all the help in the world, but people are like, he looks tired. It's like, I'm sure he is tired. He's been doing a lot. He went to the Met Gala. He was time 100. Like those events have cheese. So he has been doing the press rounds. It is exciting. And like, I don't like what my body has talked about. I do think what we need to do is talk about men's bodies and then not talk about anybody's bodies. Because it wouldn't be fair if we only talked about women's and then we were like, we're not doing this anymore. It's like, no, men should also have to have their bodies talked about. And then we should all equally agree that it is inappropriate.
What should we talk? What should the name of our men's body segment be called? We should label it something. Yeah. Body talk,
I mean,
spare tire.
I'd still have sex with all of them. That
no
is
problem.
That is how I feel whenever someone's like, here's a dad bod. I'm like, looks great. Wish I could bone him.
You know, trillionaire.
Like, yeah. You know what doesn't look great? His face. Can we talk about that? He's got an ugly face.
No, he does not.
I think he's cute.
I do think he's really cute.
He's not gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, who's the most handsome football player? I think Patrick Mahomes is pretty hot.
Oh, listen, you give me 30 seconds, I'll give you a list of 10. And they're all probably rolling in a little chunky today, and I say, love it. I think you'll look great.
Especially if you've just won the Super Bowl.
Chunky hunky. Yeah, that's a good name for our segment.
Like, chunky hunky?
Chunky hunky.
God, we're going to be canceled by the time this is posted. But I'm writing it down anyway, so we don't forget.
I like chunky hunky.
I
love a good chunky hunky.
Let's do that. Let's draft the 10 hottest players in the NFL. How many times have websites like that?
Can we do it next episode? Because I'd like to put some honest thought into this.
I need to do the research.
Yeah. Okay.
While we're on Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just was going to say Patrick Mahomes made some comments about Harrison Butker, which we got into last week. He has been absolutely dragged over the coals this week, and I have enjoyed literally every single TikTok that I've watched. Sarah's been retweeting all week long.
Eddie Vedder of Pearl Jam dragging him while women are going like,
as if they weren't throwing their panties enough before. Like, no.
Yeah, this is the good side of social media, is when stuff like this happens and then somebody's just buried into the ground.
And then seeing the people that are like, I like him, and it's like, you suck too. I've seen multiple different angles of, like, I saw a TikTok and a woman was like, and I know she was a Christian, I'm sure. And she was saying like, oh, everyone's mad at Harrison Butker, but everybody's silent when athletes commit domestic violence. It's like, no, we're not.
No, we're not.
There's a lot of us angry. And then I also saw a comment under the Pearl Jam video where a guy was like, oh, everyone mad at Harrison Butker, no one mad at Diddy. It's like, that's not true. Like,
what are you talking about?
They're all so mad at Diddy. It's so vile. Harrison Butker is like, if you say dumb stuff, we are going to have fun with it. Like, that's the reality. Also, you don't think women can be mad about multiple things at a time?
No problem. Watch us. Guys, I wrote a stupid song like 2 years ago called like Kickers Are People Too.
Oh my
And I
God,
think I even
Rachel.
sang about Harrison Butker, and everyone's been tagging me in it all week, and it's been a goddamn nightmare because
Wait,
he
what?
posted it on his Instagram
When?
He did?
2 years ago. 2
He
years
did.
ago.
Oh,
And you were
well,
being
Way
pro,
before that.
you were being pro Butker.
I was just being pro kicker. I was
Kicker.
just
Yeah.
pro
Um,
something had happened and everyone was shitting on somebody, or maybe Harrison Butker like made a crazy kick. And I
Wait,
wrote this
can
funny
we
song.
can we just speak so briefly about how we woke up to a text from you Sunday where the one and only Antonio Brown had deemed you cracker of the day. Rachel,
Thank
that is a big honor.
Oh,
You
thank
made it.
you.
You made it.
Thank you so much.
What
Yeah.
and you said it was also something from 2 years ago. That's why the kicker song reminded me.
It was
What?
from 2022. I
Okay.
have no idea. It was I don't even really remember it. It was like when he came out, and maybe it was like a tweet and he talked about Jesus, and it was
It's hard
just
to know. He's given us so
there's
much.
so
I
much
know.
stuff, right? And I did a
Yeah.
dramatic reading of
Okay.
the tweet, I think was
Amazing.
what it was.
Okay.
And it did well back then, but it was
Uh-huh.
from 2022, and no one retweeted it. Like, I feel like he has been going through his
Oh,
mentions.
sure.
Yeah.
And
Kidding?
2022, what the hell are
He's got
He's
nothing
bored.
but time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got nothing but time.
Yeah.
And definitely has nothing. He doesn't even have money now. Apparently, he declared bankruptcy this week, which I'm like, yeah, he declared bankruptcy. I think he lost a lot of money from the
In crypto.
UFL or whatever. He invested in like one of those like those teams in Canada. Like what's one of the
Don't bring
what's
Canada
the-
into this. Don't bring Canada.
sorry, but it's trash.
So did Cracker of the Week get any like traction? Were people saying anything to you online?
I think people are like, bro, log off. Like, what?
Yeah.
What? But yeah, because I, you know how sometimes you'll open your Twitter and you haven't tweeted anything, and you're like, why are all these people talking to me? Like, what did I do?
Scary. The
And then
scariest.
oh, terrifying. And I scrolled down and I was just like, wow. And then I immediately sent it to you guys.
An arena league. That's what he bought. He bought an arena league or a team, and then like they had to kick him out because he like wasn't paying his bills for it or whatever.
Oh,
Remember?
right.
Wow.
But it's like you can't spend all your money on an arena football team. Like that's like spending all your money on a trampoline park. It's like you have to have enough money that you can spend some over here and keep some, Antonio. I don't know why I'm trying to like teach investments to him. Oh boy.
No,
Well, congrats on your Cracker of the
Thank
Day.
you. Yeah, if you guys want to send me a
Um,
trophy or something.
Mahomes.
I was just gonna say that I think that Mahomes said
Yes.
that, you know, basically I don't agree with everything that he said, but I do think that he's a good guy. And I mean, in my opinion, I'm like, what else is he supposed to say? Oh, did I just switch right to Butker to Mahomes comments? We hadn't brought up Mahomes.
No,
comments
I
on
said
Butker.
Mahomes.
No, you're good. You're great.
And then I followed it. If the listeners don't, make her Cracker of the Day.
Cracker of the Day. I was just about to say.
Such a bully. Still a bully. Once a bully, always a bully.
No, I'm with you. I think, what else is he to say? They're showing up for OTAs. They're going to have to be around each other. Everyone's probably asking Mahomes, what do you think? What do you think? Like,
And
I don't agree. I don't
think, I mean, they're not friends. That like, I think it's like pretty apparent. There was that, like, I don't know if it was a clip or a quote where he was like, I don't talk to him. Which is, and that was before these statements. Like, he's like,
years ago.
like, I think people are a little, like, for a star quarterback and a kicker to be friends, they both kind of have to go out of their way. Like, they're not in meetings together. It's like quarterbacks are friends with the other quarterbacks and like their offensive linemen, and they're probably nice to their like one wide receiver and to Taylor Swift's boyfriend. You know, like he's got a crew, and it's not Butker. If I was the reporter, I would have been like, okay, but what part of the speech did you agree with? Because you say you didn't agree with all of it.
Yes, that was an interesting way of framing that. I'm friends with a former NFL kicker, and he very much always felt like support staff. Like not even on really the team. He always just like
Yeah.
felt like he was a fly on the wall. Hearing these guys who make like multi-millions at like it's just they're just
I
so
think,
different.
but I also think personalities like gravitate toward each other. Like I remember when I would be in Kansas City, like obviously like Mahomes and Travis are like always hanging out. They're like best friends, right? They do everything together. But Dustin Colquitt, who was the punter 2 years ago, was like always hanging out too. And he's just like one of those like fun, cool, like crazy guys. And I think like
Yeah.
they just all like kind of had similar personalities and that all made sense. So
Yeah.
like I don't think that Harrison Butker is gonna knock back a case of Coors Light with Patrick
Yeah.
Mahomes or
No.
go to like a bull riding bar with him. So like
People love a
sorry, not
fun
invited.
punter.
Yeah,
People love a fun punter. Punters also have almost nothing to do. You know, like it's
Nothing to
like
do.
you're punting on 4th down. Who
Yeah.
cares?
We don't even have those in Kansas City.
I
We
would
never punt. We
imagine,
just always score.
right. He's like, I don't even work. I would imagine Mahomes would self-identify as a Christian, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think when you grow up also with an athlete dad and like, yeah,
In Texas.
yeah. I mean, I think that like I don't think they go to church. They might go to church on Easter and Christmas if they go,
We
but
call
like,
that a C&E Catholic.
yeah, of course. Like, I don't, and listen, I'm sure there are parts of Butker's speech that were important, of just like, loving your family, loving one another. I don't know.
I
The
bet
only part we liked was that he said, "I love my wife." And
my
started to
wife,
cry.
I'd be nowhere without my wife. And it's like,
Yeah,
we
valid.
fact checked it. That is true. I
Yeah.
bet
and I think
Mahomes
Patrick
is,
would probably agree with that since he
yes.
tweets about Brittany all the time.
But like Mahomes has been very open. They own a
WSL.
WSL.
I'm like, ooh, not ally, cracker of the week, NWSL team. He's been very open about supporting women's sports, which is like obviously a vocation outside of the house. You cannot be a professional athlete inside of your house.
Mhm.
And I bet overall he's just annoyed that he has to answer for his kicker now, because I know when Vanderjagt was in the news, kickers are supposed to be very much in the way Harrison Butker wants women to be, seen and not heard.
Shut up and kick.
Yeah. They are. Yeah. If you're making news as a kicker, you're probably doing something wrong. Yeah. I just didn't really like that people were like trying to compare it to Rashee Rice. You know what I mean? Like I understand that people want him like or signing a petition to get him out of the league. I don't think that is necessary. Like I believe that you should be able to say whatever you want, but I am also allowed to say whatever I want about it. Like that's it. You have your free speech, but I get to talk too. And like that's it. Like I don't think that there's a reason to kick him off the team or anything like that. And like people like, well, you're not doing trying to get Rashee Rice off the team. I'm like, well, he might go to jail. Like there's nothing you could do about that.
Yeah. I, honestly, whenever someone's like, sign this change.org petition, I'm like, you got to grow up.
Yeah.
We got to grow up.
Yeah.
He's like, that's how much they don't watch the NFL. It's like, you think Jerry Jones, you think an owner of an NFL team cares about your petition? Like it's not. The only way he'll be out of the league is if he misses kicks. And maybe this will cause such a distraction. I do think there's going to be people probably, I mean, people want to, you can't even like touch a kicker now. They are a little protected, but it's going to get knocked around a bit.
Well, not even that. I think kickers and pitchers probably have the most mind fuck of a job in sports.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And if he comes out and knows, especially with like the Taylor Swift effect and all of these girls now wanting to be Chiefs fans, and he knows that everybody hates him, like that's hard.
Oh, but I don't know if he knows that everybody hates him.
No, I think he's getting some positive feedback.
Oh, for sure. And I think I love the people that are like, oh, all his jerseys are sold out. I mean, I'm like, you mean the 2 that were in stock? Like they have so many Butker jerseys. And by the way, you can only make them. So like,
Yeah.
that most of them aren't in stock. And if they are, like, some guy went online and was like, there was a double XL available, and that was the only choice. And like, there were plenty available. You can make them whenever you want on any regular site. So like, there's no such thing as them being sold out.
I mean, I like 4 years ago saw someone in a Richie Incognito jersey. Like, it's like people suck, you know, like.
Yes, of course.
He was wearing it at an airport. I'm like, that is such a position.
Right. Yeah, that's a choice.
Yeah, that's a big choice.
That's a choice.
Okay,
All
should
right,
we talk Scotty Scheffler and then go eat some crackers?
Yeah, I'm starving. Go eat a pimento cheese sandwich. Scotty Scheffler.
Yes.
When
I woke up, go ahead.
When I woke up, I was like, wait, when I first read it, I was like, was he drunk? Like, I was so whenever someone gets arrested and a car is involved and they're an athlete, I'm like, they must be drunk. But I'm like, Scotty Scheffler does not seem like I'm like, maybe it was first day away from the baby and he like had a few too many. And then when I started reading the details, first of all, I was like, this is so tragic that a man died, because that has been so overshadowed. Like, someone did die. The reason they were there is because a man lost his life. So that is bad. And then Sarah, you go.
Yeah. And then they were instructed, the players and the caddies were instructed to go around, that they were the only ones permitted on the course. All the other traffic leading into the course was stopped because of an investigation. The players and caddies were instructed to drive on the median. So that is what Scheffler did. An officer stopped him and told him he couldn't. He thought the officer was telling him to go. So he continued to go. The officer grabbed onto the vehicle and then
grabbed him the vehicle.
Yes,
and it's like, so that turn Scheffler your body cam on, baby. Like, we need to see this. You should go to jail just for having your body cam off, because we are not getting to watch this.
Agreed. And so that he got dragged by Scotty Scheffler. So then taken to jail, arrested. After that, taken to jail. Jeff Darlington is in the car behind it. And this is like Jeff Darlington's Watergate, because he loves having to have this access. And so he's like, you know, and then the officer came up and they were like, do you know the name of that person so that we can write it down? Like, they had no idea. I'm like, you didn't even ask for his ID, or like maybe like say like, what are you doing? At any point you just like snapped and were like, let's go. And then, you know, I wake up on Saturday and I see a picture of Scotty Scheffler in an orange jumpsuit, and I'm like, oh, this is a joke, because this is the least likely person to ever be arrested of all time. Yeah. And then lo and behold,
I think it was Friday. I think it was Friday.
Was it Friday? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that a dragging had taken place. I thought it was some sort of like argument, like I need to go and do this, and he's like, I'm gonna arrest you. I realized somebody got dragged.
Yeah.
Well, the cop like grabbed, you know, like jumped onto the car to try to stop it.
Who's grabbing?
Like, why are you doing that either?
Because these people are fucking stupid. And that is like, obviously this has become a conversation about race, as it, I do think, needed to be. The Louisville Police Department murdered a woman, and mostly got away with it. I think there's one officer facing charges. And so it's not like the Louisville Police Department hasn't been in the news. Like, you guys got some problems. They're doing an investigation on this. And it's like, if it took them like being so incompetent that they arrested the #1 golfer in the world, a very wealthy white man who wasn't actually doing anything wrong, for a spotlight to be shown on their incompetence again, that's probably good.
Also, I just don't understand. Like, you're seeing all of these caddies and all of these carts go by. It was Scotty in like a big SUV.
Why does Scotty drive himself? That's what I was like, you don't have to drive.
Tiger also drives himself.
Yeah,
we know how that didn't go great.
But why wouldn't you just assume that is somebody
I
that's
don't,
a part of
I
it.
don't know.
I have to check because I don't know if he was one of the first ones to go through. Because I know that like Zalatoris and some other golfers came walked later because like of all of the commotion and the
Yeah.
chaos. So
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
if he was just one of the
walking
first
too.
few to do that after being texted, "Hey, here's your instructions. Just go ahead and drive on the median and come through." Because the
Yeah.
owner of the tournament is actually the one that brought Scotty to the course after
Yeah,
he
he
got
went
him
and
out of
bailed him
jail.
out.
I'm sure they were like, oh.
Oh yeah. Oh no, for sure. That officer that did that.
And he's injured too. So it's like he's
Yeah.
getting
His own
blamed, and he's
fault.
also
I'm
like, I
sorry.
think my wrist is like he had to go to the hospital, and you're
Mhm.
just and the reason
What
they're
are you
mad.
even grabbing onto? The ski racks up
Well,
top?
yeah, maybe.
Who
Who do
knows?
you think you are? Spider-Man?
Yeah, yeah, like local cop probably not in the best shape to do that, but like I just
He's
think
like,
that
well, I can't chase him, so I gotta grab onto the car.
the implications for this though, like if Scheffler decides he's never going to play in that at that tournament again because he and listen, if anybody
don't think he
preaches
will.
forgiveness,
No,
it's Scotty
it's-
Scheffler, but the amount of
yeah.
money that tournament could lose if golfers were really to be upset.
I do think, and like he does not seem vindictive. He's already been like, golf is just like my job. Like he's very like we love as fans when someone's like, I hate my sport. I mean, he's not saying, but like all the memes when the Nuggets slot was like, Joker can't wait to be with his horse. Scotty Scheffler can't wait to be with his kid. Like they just are like their life is big.
Yeah.
I think he does have a case to be like, this cost me the tournament, you know,
Yeah.
like there was so much chaos. And then the man who won, his name was so similar that I kept getting confused. And I was like, he's gonna win. And then I was like, oh, this is a
Xander.
different person.
That would
Seriously?
be that would have been incredible. He was talking
Yeah.
about like stretching in a jail cell.
Yeah.
Could you imagine
Yeah.
if he's- And golf again is such a like brain sport. Like you have to be so focused and there's so much to it.
But
can't
he
even
was not
imagine.
he wasn't winning when he
No, but he was
came
on
up,
the
you know.
leaderboard.
Wasn't he one of the favorites?
He was in the
Yeah.
top 10, and I mean Scotty Scheffler is always on the leaderboard technically. Like
Yeah.
there's
That's why I'm
never
saying
any
he
amount
has a case.
behind. Yeah.
Mhm.
I can't I just want to know the phone calls that were happening to be like, they did what? Because it was early. It was like
we need some
5:30.
releases. Is this
like,
going to go to court at all? Like, is this going to be the mayor and the chief of police are making an announcement tomorrow? They're like going to
Oh.
speak to press.
so there's
The
an
mayor and the
investigation,
chief of police.
and there is a lot of talk about the body cam not being on because that is obviously like a perpetual issue.
Oh, that wasn't a joke. That was real. I thought you were kidding.
No, his
about
body
that.
cam, his
Isn't
body
that
cam was
fully
not on.
illegal.
Well, what's illegal when you're the cops?
Here comes the Megan points.
So no, it ended up like it like I don't know, it like there's something about it that's just a really funny story that I do hope like actual change.org sign my petition.
I do want to see that body cam footage. Have you guys ever been arrested for anything before?
No.
No.
I have. Did I ever told you this
And
before?
No, what were you arrested
Was
for?
it in the US or Canada?
It was in Canada.
Oh, it was like a Mountie.
Yeah. No, I wish.
RCP, Royal
I-
Canadian Police.
I stole perfume from a Hollister, and the mall
Bad
cop
to the
put me
bone.
in handcuffs.
You got
And
charged?
maybe-
Like it's on your record?
No, it's not on my record.
Oh.
I just had to do like community service. But he put me in handcuffs and sat me in the back of Hollister. All the hottest people work at Hollister. It was humiliating. And I just had to sit there crying. The back of Hollister.
So CJ worked at Hollister for half the shift and they put him in the back because he wasn't hot. So at least you were in the back of Hollister with like the B squad.
The cool people.
No, shoplifting was
sorry.
so scary to me for that reason. Like
Oh,
I
used
would
to
have
shoplift all.
I did it all
I
the time. I
I
never
never
got
did.
caught, though.
I was so scared.
I never
Oh,
got
I used
I
to
was
steal
so
so much
scared.
stuff.
I get scared now. Sometimes I give Conrad like an apple when we're at the grocery store because he's going apple, 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 apple. So I give him one and then I try and not pay for it because he eats like 2 bites and I'm like, he's cute. Can we just have the apple for free? And like that even stresses me out. And like once she let me go without paying for it. And then when she was like, "Are you gonna pay for that apple?" And it's like, all right, you damn snitch.
Here she is, the bully coming to roost.
Just let my baby
Give
eat
me
an
an apple for
apple.
free. I
You-
earned it. I was the most popular girl in my high school.
I wasn't. You can't be the most popular if you're a virgin. Those are like opposed to each other.
Next episode, can you bring a picture of you as prom queen? So we can
Yeah,
see?
my ass was so big. Like
She just turns her computer and it's hanging on her wall, like right behind her.
my ass was like a shelf because I was playing such intense junior tennis and just was.
Oh my goodness. I
Yeah.
had such an ugly turquoise dress for prom.
Wow. It goes without saying. I definitely had an ugly turquoise dress at some point.
Yeah, mine was.
Okay. I'm sending
All
love
right, let's
to
go.
you, Sarah, not to Chris.
Yeah.
Chris and I are obviously enemies right now, but that is okay. We will by Rachel's wedding, Chris and I will be over whatever happens.
Yeah, you guys just let me know because right now you are sitting very close to each other. So you
We're
just
gonna
let
be
me know if
fine.
I need to move that.
My brother-in-law is a Celtics fan. He texted yesterday. I did not reply because he texted that game just took 10 years off my life. And it's like,
Yeah.
What do you think it did to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well,
Well,
I'm wishing you all the best, Megan.
Thanks.
Rachel, I am wishing you all the best in
being
comedy
cracker of the day.
this weekend. Yes, being cracker of the day in your DMs and your replies and your
Yeah.
messages, and the
thank you.
fallout from your Harrison Butker song. Maybe rewrite it. I don't know. I know it wasn't your
Yeah.
Harrison Butker song. It was just a
Maybe
song
I
about
I
kickers.
think the song you have to do now is Women Are People Too.
Great.
and tag old butt key.
Yeah,
Love you guys.
working women are people too.
We'll be back next Wednesday, right? We're going to try and do this
Yep.
every single week.
Yeah.
So happy to be back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. Okay. Love you guys.
Mwah.
Bye.
Go Pacers.